about. Your next single now is what is a little bit, I would say, in my view, controversial. It's called Never Again, right? And you're speaking about, of course, the unfortunate October 7th attack that happened in Israel. Please tell us a little bit about
Could that possibly be controversial?
Per se, I wouldn't. How do I put it? The fact that we are in a very sensitive situation, and the October 7th attacks were horrible, but were only one piece of a very long history that has happened over the last 70 years, perhaps, between Israel and Palestine.
Forgive me for a second. The massacre that happened on October 7th, raping of women, burning of entire families together, huddled, parents, kids, kidnapping of old people, babies, children. A massacre which, beheading, things which are just abominations, okay? There can be no but after something like that, okay? There's nothing that anyone can do to justify that. So whether or not, as you rightly said, there is a very complex and difficult history in the region, regardless of that, okay? Whether or not there is a complex history or not, there can be no but after such inhuman, savage, barbaric behavior, okay?
I agree. Yeah.
Asante, I appreciate that. I'm happy to discuss the rest of it, which, I don't think it's one show and one session. We need like a week together somewhere just discussing to really talk about the details and complexities of and understand. I'm an artist and I'm a human and I'm a father and I'm a husband. I cry and it breaks me to see the amount of human life lost, okay?
Yes.
And my prayers are directed at innocent. God, please protect the innocent and punish the guilty. That is my prayer, okay? So on the innocent side, that includes all the horrendous pictures that we're seeing from Gaza, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm not someone who can see pictures like that and go, oh, they deserve, apana. It's not like that, okay? Nobody deserves anything, okay? But I do know where to point the finger of blame for what is happening in Gaza, because if you really take the time and you Google visuals of the so-called, how everybody calls it, open-air prison. I have a 15-minute video here on my phone. I'm happy to show you, and you can testify to the people of how gorgeous and beautiful Gaza was on 6th of October, okay? I'm talking beach. I'm talking pathways, boardwalks, shop, a Ferris wheel on the beach. This was modern cars, nice roads. It was not what people are claiming that it was. And today, okay, following a massacre which is unprecedented in human history, Gaza looks like what it looks like, and it breaks my heart. But the finger of blame is only on one place, on Hamas, who is not some fancy Hollywoody rebel group fighting for freedom. They are the devil himself incarnate, okay? Because anybody who can do what you earlier said, that you agree to, anybody who can do that to another human being doesn't deserve to live on this earth, no matter what their so-called cause is.
No, I agree. I do wonder, though, for the more than 20,000, Palestinian lives lost, who may not have a voice to speak for them, because all life is equal, right? All human life is equal, wherever it be. Is there a finger of blame then on the IDF? Because those are Palestinian civilians. As much as the war is against Hamas, Palestinian civilians' lives are being lost, right?
I agree completely in the fact that, first of all, leave alone the numbers, because the source of the numbers is the so-called Palestinian, the Ministry of Health, and that's run by Hamas. You have to, we're journalists. I'm a former journalist. You're a journalist. You can't accept a source which is, by definition of most of the world, a terror organization, and their manipulation of data is insane. But let's talk about something, okay? Let's really break this down if we're going to the citizens and so on, okay? Let's talk about hospitals, okay, if you will. Schools, also mosques if you want, playgrounds, but all of these, but mostly hospitals, okay?
Yeah.
Sheba Hospital specifically, where a family who was just released, a mother and her 3 kids, 2 kids and Abigail, who is now an orphan, the other kid she adopted in kidnapped, they were held in the hospital, okay? Everything is happening in these hospitals, okay? Hamas is ruthless. Hamas, let's say it openly, Hamas couldn't care less about the Palestinian civilians, okay? There are human shields. They have executed people trying to leave. They are stealing the human aid from them. Hamas wants pictures of dead Palestinians to fuel the world hatred against Israel. Now you have to understand, we are a moral people. Jews, Israelis, we are a moral people. My son is a soldier. My son can't hurt a puppy, okay? And yet he's forced to be in this soldiering, terrible position which nobody wants to be there. My daughter just buried and went to a funeral of another friend who's a 19-year-old soldier. We don't want to be in this position. And it's worse for us to have to kill and for us to have to, be responsible for the death of Palestinians who are being held hostage.
Isn't it a bit unfair that it is Palestinian civilians
it's
who are
very
losing their
unfair.
lives
Kabisa.
versus as opposed to the Hamas terrorists that were the
That are
cause
hiding
of the
underground.
massacre? Yes.
That are hiding underground.
here's
Do you
the
know
thing.
how? Just one thing. These tunnels underground. It's virtually impossible to get. Understand? My son just came out of Gaza. I have a first-hand report of the fighting. I understand exactly now what's happening. These rats, they are rats, okay, are hiding underground in subways, cities of tunnels underground, billions of dollars of Palestinian aid put to use to build the devil city underground.
I don't refute that. It's just that the civilian lives being lost in Palestine, right, are in the thousands, whether or not those reports come either from the UN or from
But we've been trying to get them out of the way. Israel has been begging them to move to a safe zone. They opened up a safe humanitarian zone. And what did Hamas do? They fired rockets from the same safe zone. What is the logic? Explain to me this, okay? If the UN and Israel and the Americans and the Jordanians all together create a safe zone so that the civilians can move out of the way. And it's an agreed safe zone where the Jordanians have created a hospital, where the Qataris have put up tents for aid. If that is the area, why would Hamas choose to fire from there? I'll tell you exactly why. The answer is clear. So that we will strike back and cause Palestinian civilians. That is the agenda. The more dead Palestinians, the more success for Hamas. That is the agenda.